if you can get in on a great opportunity that provides real value, but it isn't your idea, you should do it.
That's Eric Paxton, founder of Resplain.
So I'm Eric Paxton, founder of Resplain, a product I built mostly for myself, but thought it could help other people. So what Resplain does is it turns contracts into plain English, so you actually understand what you're signing. You upload a contract, and our AI, or as I like to call him, Max Contract, he breaks down the legalese, flags risks, gives you specific talking points for negotiation. And so I built it for consultants, freelancers, agencies, people who review contracts regularly, but don't really have access to counsel regularly. And so the goal is simple, just to make the contract actionable, automatically pull out deliverables, negotiation points, and risks for each party. So you're not just reading, you're kind of ready to act on it.
Was there a particular instance that finally made you go, yeah, this is the thing I need to build right now? Or was it just kind of over time you became more and more motivated to build it?
I've been in other larger companies over the last 5+ years, and throughout that, so I'm a director of engineering by day for a company called Verta Health, and then before that, I worked at a company called Hinge Health, and doing the same work. And I don't know if people know this, but people and companies deal with contracts all the time, whether it's a vendor, whether it's like contractors. And in these companies, there's typically a legal team that you go to. And I've spent hours just trying to get shit down and trying to understand basic conversations that I need to have with folks just to make sure we got the language right. And it takes so much time. And, on the flip side, I've worked in agencies and done freelance and consulting work myself, and kind of winging it and hoping like if all goes right, nobody ends up in court. And thus far, that hasn't happened, luckily. But, we do see it happen. It gets messy, and because handshakes they're great until something goes wrong.
I used to work in marketing roles, and you generally work with so many contractors or event companies or whatever, and everything requires a contract. Everything has its own kind of special flavor of legalese. So, as I said, this makes a ton of sense to me. And drilling in a little deeper on that, because I saw you pitch at Pitch Black, and I know this is a question you got. Like, can you talk about more what this solution is designed to do? Because I love that you're like, this isn't replacing lawyers. This is just making people more informed about what they're talking about.
Yeah, it was interesting because I got a question directly from a lawyer in the audience at Pitch Black. So obviously it was a contentious topic. I think it's smart to have legal folks on your team, but we know most folks don't. And so they're kind of flying by the seat of their pants. And, I didn't build Resplain to replace legal team or to give legal advice. I think that's short-sighted. I think you could probably, if you get a lot of usage, you could land yourself in hot water. And that's not the point. The point is to guide folks to understand, like, oh, this is pretty common in a lot of places, or if I am going to sign this, here's what I am actually signing, and not kind of what trying to expose the gap between what you think you're signing versus what you're actually signing is the point. And there's simple things like my neighbor runs the Japan America Society, and he goes through contracts all the time. And he was like, yeah, I had a contract one time, and I didn't realize until late I had to set up all these tables and chairs or pay $600 for this event, right? And so it's easy to just miss stuff like that you're not paying attention to.
Like, I've had situations like that. If you run events in union towns, you can get in trouble for even touching any of the apparatus without having a union member helping you out. And if you don't know that's stipulated in the contract, that can get you into trouble.
Oh, wow.
In those kind of situations, right? Like in that situation, he wouldn't have been able to set up the chairs. He would have had to deal with the union rep to get get the tables and chairs set up. So changing gears a little bit, I believe founders are the best mentors for other founders. And I know you have a depth of experience in not only the tech community, but around the startup world. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone who might be thinking about starting something or who may have just started their startup journey?
Honestly, in my own story and my own journey, and, you've seen me come and go for years, I've had more success working for other founders than I've had working for myself. Like, that's a true thing. I've recently had an exit from Hinge Health. I'm working on another problem at Berto, both incredible missions. I think, and if you can get in on a great opportunity that provides real value, but it isn't your idea, you should do it. I say that because I think everybody wants to be the ideas person, right? But if you can also help other founders with their ideas and you can contribute and provide value, do it. I've had plenty of success doing that. On the flip side, I love building and validating products, which is why I built Resplain, because I like to stay up at night and think about boring problems to solve and automate. It's my thing. But the thing with Pitch Black, right? I woke up one day in January and I said, you know what? I'm going to pitch at Pitch Black this year. And when you build, I like to build in public because you get a sense of what people actually want faster. And so Pitch Black was an example of that. Good is better than perfect. I placed third at Pitch Black, which was awesome, especially considering the amount of talent in that room. But the feedback I got from that one event was worth more than weeks of just building alone. And so, my advice is to stop polishing and start shipping.
It's so important to get what you're building out in front of people as quickly as you possibly can. And I also love what you said about helping other founders. I tried to do a couple companies of my own, and it took me a long time to realize that I'm just not a founder. That's not what I enjoy doing. I'd much rather be tactical support for a visionary founder who's building something. So yeah, there are plenty of roles in the startup world that don't involve you being a founder or a co-founder, and those can sometimes be more rewarding for people to explore. So I love that advice.
Somebody's got to be Pippin. Everybody can't be Jordan.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm probably more like Dennis Rodman. I'm just getting the rebounds. That's all I'm doing. I can't do anything else. As someone who works in an industry and now with a technology that is changing day by day, if not minute by minute, are there particular resources you look to help you remain resilient and informed as a founder? Is there a particular resource you would recommend for somebody else?
Especially in terms of AI right now, which I use a lot to try to find the less shiny things about it to use, reading Anthropic's blog posts, reading the research posts. Some of it is really hard to grok, but you can use AI to translate it if you need some clarity on it. But they're really good, just kind of how they're thinking about AI, getting in front of those blog posts from the researchers is really interesting to me. Even more so than there's plenty of books, but they get dated really fast because the technology is moving so fast. What's his name? Lenny's podcast. I love just hearing from that. It's a lot of insight from founders, from folks there. So yeah, those are the tools I use to kind of, stay up to date on things.
Do you have a favorite model right now? Is there one that you find yourself going back to more often these days?
I go back to Claude, Opus, and Sonnet more regularly just because of the nature of what I do. I'm a software engineer by trade, and I don't get to write much code in my daytime anymore, but I'm able to move significantly faster. You know, it almost feels like a cheat code. I think I spend probably a couple $100 a month on like just a handful of AI tools. And, you know, I tend to go back to Claude because number one, it's good at writing. It's probably leaps and bounds beyond the others in terms of like consistent coding. And it feels like having like $180K a year employee that I can rubber duck with. And, you know, you still got to do the thinking, but some of the stuff I've been able to accomplish like 5 years ago, I would have needed a team and plenty of funding.
I started on Chat GPT and find myself these days only using that for like, I don't really want to Google it kind of, or if it's going to take me multiple searches to get to the info, then let Chat GPT do that. But I find myself spending more and more time in Claude for building actual things. It just seems to be better at that stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Finally, you've been super helpful with all these insights in this conversation. How can we be most helpful to you?
You know, I'm constantly building things and trying them out, you know, with Resplain, you know, specifically agency owners or other businesses. Yes, I've put this out as sort of a SaaS product and I've got some folks using it. I haven't found product market fit. Like people don't say that out loud of like, it's ugly right now. But yeah, specifically, you know, outside of that SaaS realm, I'm looking to potentially deploy this internally in like a private way for companies that want to deploy the solution. And so, you know, folks who want to try this out, please get at me. Visit us at resplain.ai.
Do you have a startup story to tell? I would love to hear from you.